Hi guys, it's Uga and welcome back to another video. Today I bring you another review of The My Perfect Murders, and this one is for DeathTrap by Ira Levin. As always, this video will be divided into parts, one with a spoiler free of the book, or in this case of the play, and the other part where I discuss the murder on the book. And as always, don't forget to comment, like and subscribe if you like this content and if you want to support this channel, blah blah blah. You are tired to listen to me, so let's start because I'm excited. DeathTrap is a play. Prefer that it's not a book, it's not a narrative, it's not I don't know what I call it in English. It's not a prose book, it's a play, so it's very different. If you don't like plays and if you don't like to read plays, I suggest you watch the movie from the 80s with Michael Keaton, I think, and Christopher Reeves, the one Superman that was paraplegic. Yeah, and there is also a play here on YouTube from a theater, so you can see it. But in DeathTrap, we have 5 main characters. We have Sidney Brule, who is a playwright. I have here my Kindle because I read it on Kindle, which is the playwright that is one of the main characters. We have Myra Brule, who is his wife. We have Clifford Anderson, who is the student and who wrote the play that he tried to steal. We have Helga Tentrop, who is a psychic. And then we have his lawyer and a police officer that will appear, but these are the main characters, these 4. So, in the beginning of the play, Sidney received a manuscript from Clifford about a play that he wrote. Clifford was on Sidney, tutorial summer camp, not summer camp, but like a seminar about thriller playwrights and something about that. So he sent him his copy of his finished play, which is called DeathTrap. And since Sidney doesn't have any hit since his big play, he's tempted to kill Clifford and retain DeathTrap for him and say it was him. His wife Myra disapproves and says maybe you should try to make a collaboration, since you are older and since you are more experienced, you can make 50-50. And he always jokes about that, and he jokes about killing him, and he starts to make questions about what's gonna happen, and if it's alone, if he lives, you understand the type. Until the moment that Cliffs arrive, he starts to talk and he starts to understand a little bit of Cliff's story, and then things happen. I cannot say anything more because it will be spoilers and it spoil the whole play. But this play is so good. It plays with a lot of different settings. I don't know when it's set. I know it's an old play, so I believe it would be fixed on the 60s, 70s, maybe, not more than that. I love how they act, how Sidney thinks, how Maya and how Clifford, how Helga, I think it's Helga, her name is Helga, how the psychic comes in and starts to view things, and I'm like, oh my god, how this is gonna happen, and it's a play that I think it's not so big and it's very easily read. I love reading to plays. I was an amateur actor while I was in my teens. I did a lot of plays, so each time that I read a play, I will play with different voices and play how the character will act, how I would act that character. It's so entertaining for me to exercise my mind on that place. But yeah, it was twist after twist, and the old name of the play being DeathTrap, a thriller in 2 acts, it's brilliant. It goes along with all the things it goes here. I loved it. It was this is good, it made me in a very good mood, because damn, it's a good play. That I understand why in the book it was there being a play, not an actual novel in the sense of being a prose, because it's so good and it's so entertaining that I loved it. I cannot say much without spoilers, so I think this review of the book will be very short, because well, it's a play, doesn't have so much to say, and if you like it, go check it on, as I said, on the film from the 80s or in the play that is here on YouTube, so you can see, you can appreciate this work. I think it's 2 hours long. It's not so long, so you can definitely enjoy this magnificent play. How they play with everything, the settings and the theater setting is brilliant. And then you have a play talking about a play. It's so good. I liked it. And the second act is oh my god, how is this gonna end, how is this going to go. So yeah, now I'm gonna move to the murder, and here I will spoil the play, so I understand if you don't stay, if you want to just play, but after you watch the play, come discuss with me this murder, because this murder is brilliant. So we know that Sidney wants to kill Clifford for the play, and he did, but he didn't. Clifford then returned from the dead to kill Sidney, and Sidney dies, but he doesn't die. His wife died. Confused? I explain. Sidney, he's having an affair with Clifford. They are both homosexual, and they're trying to get rid of Myra. So they enter in this plane of Clifford. I think Clifford went truly to the seminar, but the DeathTrap doesn't exist. All of that was a facet because they want to kill Myra. And how do they do that? Myra had an heart condition. She had an heart attack like not so recently. So any big emotions will eventually kill her. So having Sidney start playing with killing Clifford when he arrives, and all the questions and the way that he puts handcuffs that he cannot find, and then he goes searching for the key and starts pointing, because he has a lot of weapons from the theater. Some of them are real, some of them are not, and all the anxiety that she has, you know, all of that, it grows a lot on her. After they fake killing Clifford, she helped him move to the garden. Sidney tries to bury him, you know, we didn't bury him, but then it comes our psychic, and our psychic starts to say, you have a big pain on the chest for Myra, so talking about your heart attack, but also give some insights for the second act. Here it's when Myra starts to get a bit more anxious, because she knows something. She knows about the man in boots, which is Clifford. She knows that someone killed him. She knows a lot, and like the psychic element here is to create the suspense on Myra's heart. So when Clifford appears from nowhere and kills Sidney, she has an heart attack. She's like, so how is not he killed my husband, you know, all the stress pulls an heart attack. Clifford sees if Myra is really dead. She is, and Sidney wakes up, and they go for the second act. There's actually 2 murders here, but the one focused on the 8 perfect murders is the one from the heart attack. So it's basically you kill someone knowing that he has a disease that eventually, if you are scared, if you are stressed, or if you do something, you will eventually die. For example, could be a food allergy, a bad food allergy that, for example, you can take to a restaurant, something that he's allergic, and you have like accomplice. You put like nuts or something, but she doesn't have the pen, the EpiPen, so she has an anaphylactic shock and she dies. For example, a heart condition is very easily, in the 8 Perfect Murders it was a scare. They scare one lady that has an heart condition, so with that scare, you know, I think he came off the closet with a clown mask, you know, very spooky. She had an heart attack and she died. That's how they did it. Imagine you want to kill someone by giving since he has a disease, and this is a very specific murder, of course, because someone has to have a disease that is easily triggered. Then you have to create a story that, like Sidney did. Saying that his wife was complaining about her chest, but she didn't want to go to the doctor, like most people who complains about, and then, oh no, this is nothing, and then eventually can get an heart disease. It comes handy there. The psychic sees that she is in pain, and they joke about that. I don't know if biologically you can see the difference. I think not. I think you cannot differentiate about an heart attack. How do I explain this? For example, I'm here and I'm having an heart attack now, or someone provoking me the emotions to have an heart attack, unless you have like cameras. So if it was indoors, you can easily like, oh no, she has an heart condition and she was so stressed out about something, or she was complaining about, but I told her to go to the doctor, she didn't want it, and then she collapsed, and now I'm talking to you. But here the point is, you have to fake it very well. You have to fake your emotions. Unless you are if you are totally attached to that person, you have to fake the concern. You have to fake, I tried to resurrect her, I tried to call, I'm so nervous, what do I do? You know, she can, all that thing that comes in, you have to deal with it, and you have to deal with all of that later, and you have to hung up to yourself, so you cannot be an argue because you are arguing, you know, and that could be, I don't think that anyone would be suspicious, but if you know your person has an heart condition, you try to minimize the arguing. Of course, it's not possible. Everyone will argue with everyone, you know, but try to minimize it. But I think it comes to that. From this, it's a very specific murder, you know. It's not like any of the murders that can be pulled off. Like a routine, it's very easily to do. Killing on the train or looking like an accident, it's easy. The ABC murders, it's complex, but it's easy because it doesn't depend on a person having a medical condition or having something that you can trigger to look like natural cause. So strokes and everything, you know, has to be something that you can trigger. I think the example that I gave earlier about the food allergies, you have to know that person has a food allergy, so it could look suspicious, like she has a food allergy, unless it's a restaurant and then the restaurant is responsible, which is bad. That will look suspicious. I think the heart condition is the best, or a stroke, for example, but besides that, now I think the problem here is create the situation to displunk that and to ensure that it gives the heart attack or it gives a stroke, you know, it gives the impact that to kill the person. I don't know how you can measure it, if it's too weak, if it's too, you know, I'm a little bit skeptical on that, because I don't know if all that stress, maybe it was enough, I don't know if it's enough to put on an heart attack. The other being scared, I know scares it gives you, but it will give you an heart attack, maybe because she was elderly, but if it was a little bit younger, you know, I think you have a lot of factors. But yeah, I think it's one of the best because it doesn't leave traits, but it's very circumstantial. So in terms of getting caught is one of the hardest because it's a natural cause, but from execution it's one of the hardest because it will depend on the medical condition, it will depend on the situation. You have to create an all situation to provoke that attack, and after that you have to play very well your cards, and you play very well. They joke in the play that if he didn't hire Clifford, if he hired a younger woman, they could think that he tried to kill his wife from heart attack because, well, he wanted a younger woman. You see, you have to play carefully with that. The second murder, I want to address it very quickly because I think it's interesting. In Act 2, Clifford decides to write DeathTrap, and DeathTrap is basically their story. Two men who tries to kill their wives, and he has an amazing first act because the first act is amazing actually, but he's struggling with the second act. And Sydney, who knows that Clifford had some problems in the past, decides, I don't want my story to be told, I know it's gonna be messy, everyone will think, because you hired a man and you have two men and your wife died from an heart attack and you are inspiring your play like that in a murder, it's a little bit suspicious. Even he said that. So he didn't want that. So he makes some phone calls, he goes to his lawyer and says he wants to dismiss Clifford, but he made it look like Clifford is violent, so he was trying to self-defend. So while they are trying to make the second act, Sydney says to Clifford to get an axe, like to mimic the axe situation, so it can look real. And Clifford has a gun hidden, so it can look like he's trying to murder, so I catch the gun and I kill him. Sydney's killing of Clifford will be excellent because it was a self-defense, you know. I will try to dismiss him, but he was aggressive, so I try to defend me, and he has this pass already confirming that he was aggressive, so that will be very good to get rid of him. The rest of the play is brilliant, so I think this will be my shorter episode on this series. Tell me in the comments if you are enjoying, if you are liking this murder, what you think about this murder, if it's possible or not, if you think anyone can do it, anyone could do it or pull it off. Yeah, I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, so I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.